Welcome back. Selena's here with me, and we are going to talk more about quadrilaterals. Today, we're going to talk about the rhombus. The rhombus is pretty fun. First, we want to start talking about the square. So, Selena, can you tell me what is special about what makes a square a square?
It has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles.
Yes. And then, can you show me how we make it into a rhombus? A rhombus is a quadrilateral of 4 equal sides, but no right angles. And so we need to talk about another part, or the parts of a rhombus, and the parts, how that relates to the parts of the square. So I'm going to move our rhombus over here, and we're going to bring up our square that we squished to make our rhombus. There we go. And we're going to look at the parts. So when we're looking at a rectangle or a square, we know that the base is the bottom. And here are my labels. The base. And on our rhombus, that's also going to be called the base. So I'm going to move our rhombus label to the top. So just like with our square or a rectangle, the bottom is called the base. And in this one, we would call it a side or the height. In this one, we can't call it the height because the height is from the bottom base to the top base. So this is just a side.
That reminded me of Irish dance stuff.
Side?
Side with 2.
Side. Okay. So now we have another part to talk about. And this is the part that's going to show us what's different about the square and the rectangle, or square and the rhombus. We talked so much about rectangles. Okay, so I'm going to add another piece to our square. This right here, we'll go this direction. This line that connects the opposite vertices or vertex points where they turn is called the diagonal. And you probably remember that from parts of a polygon. Diagonals are lines that are drawn from one side to any non-adjacent side, meaning ones that aren't next to each other. So that's a diagonal of the square. Let's look at the diagonals of our rhombus. So here we have our base and our side and another side. And this would also be called the base, the part it could sit on. So lower base and upper base. Look at this. There's a diagonal. And there's another diagonal. Oh, it's like a teeter-totter. Do you notice something? Do you notice something, Selena? What do we notice about the diagonals of the square?
They're equal.
They're the same. The diagonals on the square are the same. What about the diagonals on the rhombus?
They are not the same.
They're not the same. We have a short one and a long one. The short one is called the minor diagonal. Minor as in smaller. And the long one, the pink one, is called the major diagonal. When we look, that might tip it over the edge.
When paperweight so much.
When we are talking about the diagonals of a square, they're the same. But when we're looking at the parts of a rhombus, the longer diagonal is called the major diagonal, and the shorter diagonal is called the minor diagonal. We've got a base and another base and a side and another side. In your journal, you're going to draw a rhombus and all of these parts. The sides, the base, the major diagonal, and the minor diagonal. We'll see you next time.